Well, I'd been told to go down to a theatre in off Kingsway, a little theatre down there, to do what I thought was going to be feeding Freddie Starr on a sketch. Because Freddie Starr was very big at this particular point. And they told me it was a sketch by the sea, a sort of Victorian sketch. Anyway, I go down, and really I could have done without it because time was of the essence, because it was a very full schedule at that particular point. And my children didn't see an awful lot of me. So I go down to this theatre and I've got this costume and I put it on and they usher me down to the side of the stage and they say, well, what you've got to do is put this custard pie, that's all you've got to do. I said, but aren't there any words? I thought you were going to give me a script. No, you don't need a script. So I said, oh, and I still didn't twig or anything. So I got this custard pie. I did it once to Freddie, and it was perfect. Because I know how to throw a custard pie. I've thrown many in my time. And anyway, they said, no, I've got to do it again. I said, why? Oh, no, it wasn't quite right. There was something wrong with the camera. I said, oh, all right then. And the next time, of course, it was Eamonn's face that was in front of me. And, of course, instead of... It's amazing how your instincts take over. Because you just throw the custard pie in the person's face. But I went, Eamonn! Like that. And he laughed. And he didn't get the custard pie in his face, which, of course, was supposed to be the joke. So I couldn't throw a custard pie in Eamonn's face. He's glorious. And, of course, he said, Ruth, this is your life. Well, I was shocked. I thought, first thing I thought was, do my family know? Not let on. Well, of course they're going to know, Ruth. Don't be so stupid. So up they took me to this dressing room. There was a dress there that my husband had bought me, supposedly, in Bond Street, which was very posh for me, even in those days. There it was, hanging up. And they said, this is what you're wearing tonight, for this is your life. So it had all been meticulously planned. Yes, absolutely meticulous. The pickup was just amazing. My mum and dad were there, and of course the Heidi High lot, and Lionel Blair, whom I know very well, was on it, and Max was on it, who incidentally I live near now. But it was very joyous, and the most wonderful thing was at the end, we had a huge male voice choir singing God Bless the Prince of Wales, and my 94-year-old grandmother trotting on at the end, who brought the house down. But it was the precision with which it was done, and how many months before it had all been laid to plan. But John, I mean, my John was trained in the army and SAS and all the rest of it. So, I mean, he could keep a secret, if anybody could. I don't think my mother could very well. Apparently, John tells me that on a few occasions he used to say, well, if you don't be quiet, Iris, I will pull this programme. Because the whole thing is that it's got to be a wonderful surprise for Ruth. But she did just about keep it from me, I think. And as the evening went on, of course, they brought on a lady, which was very interesting. I had been in a huge train crash at the age of about, I suppose, about 9. And this lady was taking me down from Hull to my grandmother in Wales, where I basically lived, you know. But I'd been up for a Christmas holiday, and anyway, this lady was taking me back. And in, I think it was Doncaster, it crashed, and there were a lot of people killed. Well, in those days, of course, you didn't have television. you're talking about the 50s now, the beginning of the 50s. And the way people used to know there had been disasters was that they would interrupt on the BBC Light programme, or the Home Service programme it was then, bulletins, apart from the news, of course. Well, this had happened at about, I suppose, about 10 o'clock in the morning. And they did say, my mother actually thought thought I'd passed away, because they said there were 3 children in it. But this was never, ever brought into the fore in my life. It was like a dream. This lady, very cleverly, got on a train straight away, went up to York and across to Wales and down again, that way to Wales. Stockport, Stalybridge, that area. She went. And I've never been frightened of trains since because of this lady. Now, nothing was never really made a lot of in my family, this big train crash. Therefore, I wasn't frightened. So it seemed like a dream to me until this lady came on and she told the story of how I went back. Now, I know I did this. I went back into this carriage and into all the terrible mess that it was to find my doll. I got the doll, and there was a gentleman in the corner of this carriage, and I thought he was asleep, but unfortunately he'd passed away, so she said, on the programme. But it was very interesting because it verified what had been at the back of my mind for years and years and years and years and years, and nobody ever talked about it, which was quite extraordinary, really. It was very dramatic when it was being told, you know. And then a gentleman that pulled me out of the carriage actually saw the programme and sent me a cutting then. Yeah. So it was quite sort of salutary in that sort of way, but joyous in another. So it was all very, very, very nice. Oh, I mean, for me, it's a happy, happy memory that I will always have, because I've got the red book and I've got the tape. And as I say, it'll be my grandchildren, that it will be passed on to my 5 grandchildren. And for them to take care of it. And remember, it was an accolade, and how thrilling an accolade after all those years of being in the business and toting carry-cots around and, you know, a nappy son around, to have that, you know, how very kind of them, very, very kind of them.